Rev, you know you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair,
And
man.
you had the head on.
Yeah, it was.
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. So we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising. But one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich Newton for bringing us back. Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved.
January 28th.
Take your membership. Right.
Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time.
We need you.
And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can call in and be heard nationwide, every state and every region of the country. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Well, a lot is happening. A man was arrested in Minneapolis after he charged toward Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, spraying her with liquid during a town hall meeting that she was having. As the Congresswoman, many members of Congress have a town hall. She was having a town hall. This man came and sprayed some liquid on her, did not know what it was. She stepped up to defend herself, and they grabbed him. He was arrested. But it shows the level of hostility and how they are totally oblivious to any kind of moral center that is in a correct way, that you're going to attack a congresswoman for standing up to 2 people killed for no reason. Democrats certainly came behind this. Now, Congresswoman Omar, who I know, was defended by Democrats in the House against accusations by Donald Trump. Trump had accused her of being part of some scandalous use of money for Somalis because she's from that part of the world. It is amazing how ruthless and insensitive they could be. Then we get the DHS report. This is the Department of Homeland Security. I want you to hear this. An initial Department of Homeland Security review says 2 federal officers fired their weapons during the January 24th shooting of Alex Pretty in Minneapolis. A Border Patrol agent fired a Glock 19, and a CBP officer fired a Glock 47 about 5 seconds after an officer repeatedly shouted, "He's got a gun." Now, the report does not state that Pretty attacked officers or brandished a gun, contradicting early claims by the DHS, Department of Homeland Security's leadership. Verified eyewitness videos viewed by NBC News show Pretty did not have a weapon in his hand during the struggle. One video shows an agent removing a gun from Pretty's waist area just before he was shot. So this whole claim of self-defense falls flat on their preliminary review. They don't say he accosted anybody. They don't say he threatened anybody. And the film shows the gun was in his belt before they shot him. They took the gun out. He didn't. This is a couple of weeks after they shot and killed Renee Good in her car, unarmed. All of this ICE agents and Department of Homeland Security agents, to where Trump has pulled out one of the major people lying, and which a lot of people saying, oh, wow, he's backing up. Well, he's sending in Holman, who was the guy that abused people in other parts of the country, and told the mayor of New York he'd be up his A if he didn't do what he told him. So even though Holman has not been as out of whack as some of the others, I don't see Holman as somebody I would pat him on the back. Secretary of State Marco Rubio testified before the Senate on the Trump administration's move on Venezuela this morning. He emphasized the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, and there are no U.S. ground troops there. Rubio explicitly stated interim leadership fails to meet U.S. expectations of cooperation, then they will act further. What does that mean? And who decides that? Another issue we can discuss today is UPS has announced they will cut up to 30,000 more jobs and move away from low-profit Amazon shipments. And this is going to be a major cut in the workforce. And Amazon is slashing another 16,000 jobs across the company. I thought the economy was going to be doing a lot better under Trump. All these companies every month now, we're hearing of job cuts. We're hearing Amazon 16,000, UPS 32,000. I thought Trump told y'all this is a booming economy. Right. All of this, why they still, let me go Diana Taylor on our message board that said, please bring the Epstein files back up. The date has passed. Keep up what you're doing. Ignore the haters who had not heart. Thank you. Well, thank you, Diana, because Diana is absolutely on it. A lot of this drama, a lot of this flood the zone is so people will forget that they are weeks away from when they were supposed to turn the entire Epstein files over. They have not done it. Evangelist Ramsey, one of the best activists in the land, says, hey, everyone, how are you, Rev? I am doing me at MJ, the musical. Gotta go. Stay blessed and prosper on purpose. Remember, God wants us to own things, and I will. Never too late. I love it. And MJ is the Broadway musical on Michael Jackson. I went opening night with his children were there. Well, they don't want to be called kids no more, but I think it's interesting, very interesting. All right, let's get ready to take a break. Let me read one more. I see the mayor's up. I got to do that. The mayor of Queensbridge Houses, Mayor Rodney Jones, says now this administration is doing, quote, damage control after the NRA and other Second Amendment rights organizations are criticizing the actions of those against American citizens. Now, very good point, Mr. Mayor. The National Rifle Association is saying this man had a legal gun. We believe in people having legal guns. You say he shouldn't have been armed, so now you're against us. And these were the backbones of Trump's first run and played a major role in the second run. So either you are for people having licensed guns or you're not. Either you're with the NRA or you're not. Because this man qualified everything the NRA say they wanted. Legal weapons, ability to carry them. Well, that's all he was doing. And they didn't even know he had a weapon until he reached trying to help a woman they had knocked down. Then they knocked him down. So he wasn't brandishing anything. None of the tapes show that. But it's very clear where we are and why. All right, let's get ready to open up the phones. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Shopton, keeping it real. Be right back.
And thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We were go. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses. Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Right, so that's and we
Alexander Shelton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road from me. I went over his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket.
Wow.
From South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James and Jesse.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And where I knew Jesse was from James, I started breakfast.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about it in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and helped push the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you gotta listen to me. But
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and
a race baiter.
Yeah, right. I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much
he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to get out front of her and play basketball for a legend.
I am your host,
Al
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on our message page at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Let me say that I am astounded by the arrogance and insensitivity that the bunch of bureaucrats and autocrats, the Trump administration is having parrot and speak for their way of governing. Clearly, to have guys jump out there and call this man a terrorist, an urban terrorist that was brandishing a gun and all of this when there was clearly no evidence of that. And for Trump that night to repeat a lot of it. Now he's trying to retract it. We are in a frightening time that we saw coming. I got some people called me last night and said, Rev, you was hard on everybody yesterday on radio. I was hard, and I am going to be hard today, because we told you this. Better still, forget what we told you. They wrote it down. They wrote Project 2025. They told you what they were going to do. You didn't believe them. And in the middle of all this upheaval, I agree with Joanne Kemp. Joanne Kemp said, to me, this was a very strange time for Melania to release a movie. Where's her advisors and PR people? They're going to put out this multi-million-dollar production on the First Lady's glamorous life while we're looking at this kind of chaos. I mean, it is astounding. It is astounding. But this is what everybody that didn't vote, you helped elect. Everybody that say ain't nothing to vote for, you helped elect this. And if I were you and knew people that did that, I would not give them a pass. I would say, this is what you helped come in. Because if you had voted, they would not be sitting up there doing this. And they're going to keep doing it for 3 more years if we don't come out here and turn this around with the midterm elections. I see Christopher Jeremiah say, good day, Reverend Sharpton. Keep the pressure on. You applying the right amount of pressure. Keep it up. Thank you, Christopher. And I definitely intend to do that. Let me say by way of announcements, make sure you watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to have leading members of Congress because I want to know what they're doing with stopping the bill to refund the government until they take ICE out. I want to have members of the House, leading members of the House. I already talked to one of the main leaders, and I think they'll be on over the weekend. So make sure you watch the show. Also going to dig into Minneapolis, where the movement is now, and where they're going next with deportation. And then, of course, you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action rally at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem, 9 a.m. to 11. You that are not in the New York area, you can beat me or meet me at the National Action Network headquarters, 145th and Lenox. We will be there 9 to 11. This will be the last Saturday we're in that location. We have negotiated a much larger location. Thanks for the support of people coming out. But for the month of February, Black History Month, we'll be having the Saturday rally out of Mother AME Zion Church on West 137th Street between 7th Avenue and Lenox every Saturday, 9 to 11. I'm excited about the National Action Network's National Convention, 35 years, and I've been on the phone. I got some of our top elected officials, top business leaders, top entertainers, all will be there, all free. And people are signing up. I need you to sign up now if you intend to be here one day, a half a day, 3 days, all 4 days, April the 8th through the 11th at the Sheraton, New York, which is located in the Times Square area. Go to the website, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call the toll-free number, 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. And I think that a lot of us, if there ever was a time to get active, now's the time. We predicted he was going to do stuff like this, and he's doing it, and you still run around trying to act like he's not doing it. I think that, let me read some of the messages. Ronald James says, Black people did not drive their car with a police officer standing close by, let alone in front of the car. Who goes to a peaceful protest strapped? I'm just saying. Well, first of all, if he had a licensed gun, how do you know when he was going to the protest where he was going after? How do you know what he went to before? So I think you're making a lot of presumptions. The fact is, the videos show that they didn't know he had a gun till they had already accosted him. He didn't draw a gun on them. So I don't see the point you're making. And if you're against people having licensed firearms at protests, then why were people defending Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin, who shot people at a protest and they acquitted him? Or the people at January 6th. So be careful what you say now, because you might be contradicting something else you said. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton. Be right back. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories, and the curriculum You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight in the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started at Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance as they could fight in the 50s. That ACP would put together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this stuff.
No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
Around this is so wicked. Now they're going to, they released last night a memo that said that the FBI was investigating good. They're trying to come up with something on the victim. Not they gonna investigate who shot her. The ICE agent shooting in the head 3 times. They're gonna investigate her. And you wonder why we need movements. You wonder why we need to stand up. Hakeem Jeffries was here Monday. Why we need to deal with this midterm election. Well, Reverend, I get calls on my radio show every day. Well, I don't see where voting changed something. Well, all right, let me tell you where if they lose the Congress this year, where it changes. The Speaker would be Hakeem Jeffries, who grew up right here in Name, as he said on Monday. The Speaker decides then the calendar for the legislative session. The chairs of the committees become Democrats. So the Judiciary Committee, now watch this in the barbershop. The chair of the Judiciary Committee, y'all saw the Judiciary Committee have the hearing and brought in the special counsel yesterday. Well, the chair this time, if the Democrats win, would be a Democrat who could then subpoena the Attorney General Bondi, all of the folks that were involved in January 6th. They can subpoena the vice for all of them because you've got the power of the gavel. Wonder why nobody has asked Pence how he felt running for his life January 6th. Well, if you get the Judiciary Committee, you can subpoena Pence.
This is a defining moment. As our world faces urgent challenges, the movement comes together. National Action Network's 35th anniversary in
Martin Luther King Day. Because Martin Luther King died in Memphis fighting for wages for garbage workers. And I believe he would want those of us that come in his tradition to be standing with nurses and standing with those that should be getting wages for saving the lives and caring for people that the private hospitals and other hospitals seem not to care about. How can you spend King Day and turn your back on people that are working and not insured right and not given the right wages and not given the right respect when they're taking care of our afflicted, our ill, our infirm? In the name of Martin Luther King, I join the nurses in demanding justice for the nurses. This is not only a labor issue, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. It's an issue that black and white, Latino, Asian, all can stand together. Because those that want to make profits out of people's illness, rather than pay for those that care for them, that stand for them, that are there when their families are not there in some cases. So we had to come on King Day. Many of the dignitaries came to the House of Justice, but I left to come and stand here with them to let them know that Martin Luther King Day is a day to stand up for those that are standing in the cold, but they never left the patients in the cold. No justice.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go right to the phones. Let's start with Mike in Pennsylvania. Mike, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
He literally just hung up.
All right, then let me go to Mike in Brooklyn, New York. Then, if Mike in Pennsylvania hung up, I was coming to you.
Yeah,
Mike.
I'm here.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing, Sharpton?
I'm
My
fine.
point is with the ICE agents. This is something they doing their job, and I don't like what the people's getting involved in the way of law enforcement. You looking for trouble.
What is their job?
It's to protect Americans.
And who is he protecting when a lady was thrown down and this guy went to help the lady? How is that protecting Americans to shoot him?
Well, he was armed.
No. Answer my question, or I'll go to the next caller. How was that protecting America? The fact that he was armed, they didn't know he was armed. So how was that protecting America?
Well, he was there with a firearm.
But they didn't know that. They didn't know that. Second time. Let's talk to each other like we grown. They did not know, and they say they didn't know he had a firearm. So how was shooting him protecting America?
My point of view of the video.
I don't care about your point of view. I really don't. I'm trying to be honest with you because this is not about a point of view. This is about a fact. If they did not know he had a firearm, fourth time I'm asking you, how were they protecting America? I didn't ask you about your point of view. This is not about a point of view. This is whether or not what you said is true or not. You said they were protecting America. How?
He interfering with their duties of trying to apprehend a migrant.
Who was they? What migrant? It was an old lady. She wasn't a migrant.
I want to say this.
No, let me go on to the next caller. Come on. When you figure out what you're saying and you can back it up, you can call back. Come on. You done turned the old lady into a migrant. You done had the gun out when they admit now they didn't have the gun out. Think about what you're saying, Mike. You smarter than that. And let me tell you something. There can be times that law enforcement is right. What makes people not trust law enforcement is when they wrong, people gonna come and try to act like they right. You can't make wrong right, and you can't make right wrong. Let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, Reverend Sharpton. I'm just going to just got my 5 minutes in. I just want to comment on the last Dume that called in with this nonsense. They didn't know the man had a gun until they killed him and turned him over and found one. So that's the fact.
And they said that,
So he can
that's
talk to
part of the
Facebook.
report. So he's going against their own report.
Well, I know he's a dummy. I ain't even calling him, but I know who he is, but we're not going to worry about him. He's not important because he don't know nothing. I'm going to get to my next 3 points and get my 5 minutes under my belt. What it is, I saw an article from the Defiant Lawyers Network. What they talking about? The 1 million of black people are unemployed now, under Donald Trump. And that's just some craziness that he's talking about. What do you have to lose? And his object was, the topic was from the black lawyer said, what do you have to lose? And his arrogant and respectful way that he's employed to black people. What do you have to lose? So yeah, 1 million jobs are taken from black. They're not lost. They're taken from black people. That's the first thing. I didn't like that. That's from the DefiantLawyers.net. That's where they come from. And then I got this other article I just saw today. ICE is going undercover in Minneapolis in order to get people to think that they're just like them, in order to find new suppression tactics in their country. And that came from a young lady called Leslie Abernavino, and she's on a TikTok. It's LESLEYABRADANEL, and she told the whole truth. I'm not going to go into detail, but you have to look it up and let them see it. And the last thing I do have, if I can get out this radio for you, is that American people, they are not thinking about none. The accident is paying ICE a lot of money. One of these articles that I read, I'm sure I'll bring it on tomorrow, where they're making more money now dealing with Trump and dealing with this illegal crap that he's doing than they have ever made in life. And I'm going to bring that article up tomorrow. It's the only subject I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and it's going to be on and popping. I can't help it. I'm hard punching, and I got to do it. Thank you, Brother Al, for taking my call,
All right,
sir.
thank you for your call. And let me go to the message board. James Thomas is saying, so much for that Trump swagger, black folk. Pevy Sharon saying, thank you, Al Sharpton, for your pushback. And Bruce Turner saying, was that a black MAGA? And let me say this. I have no problem letting black MAGA people, Trump supporters, law enforcement supporters, call the show. I had the MAGA black Congressman Byron Daniels on my television show. But when you ask them questions about what they're saying, they can't answer them. Or they go to, oh, y'all just jumping on me. No. I'm asking you a question. If you call and say that they were protecting the people from harm, and I say, well, what was the harm? That lady had been knocked down. Oh, migrant. The lady was not a migrant. So, well, he had a gun. They didn't know he had a gun. So this is not about us disagreeing on law enforcement. This is about you creating your own facts that don't exist. And that's what happened when I had Byron on the show, and he was saying, well, this, that, and the other, and that's not true. Trump is doing so and so. He's not. He's not even saying that. So how do you justify to yourself, a matter of self-respect, how do you justify to yourself that you're believing and saying something that you know is not true? That you know is not true. It's better to say, look, they're doing a lot wrong, but I like them better than other guys. Fine. But don't try to make wrong right. Let's go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia, WURD. Disco Brian.
Hey, Rev. Monday I called and dropped a whole lot of ugly truth on you and your audience, and I guess I kind of want to apologize for it, but nonetheless, it's truth. And the truth I dropped was about the diabolical wickedness of three particular individuals. Do you remember the tweet from the official account of the House Judiciary.
Hello?
20. Yes, Rev.
You broke
Are you
up.
there?
You broke up.
My apologies. Let me go to this. Is this better?
Yeah. You said, do I
Thank you,
remember
Rev.
the tweet from the House, and then you dropped.
Thank you. Remember the tweet from the official account of the House Judiciary GOP posted on October 6th, 2022, which has been deleted. It was up for about 2 months. And it had 3 names with periods by each name. And you know what those names were, Rev? Do you remember that tweet?
No, I do not.
It said Kanye, period, Elon, period, Trump, period. And the official account, the House Judiciary GOP, deleted that tweet in December, so 2 months after it was up. They deleted it after Kanye West praised Hitler and talked about how he loved Putin when he went on Alex Jones's show with his neo-Nazi friend, what's his name? Nick Fuentes. So, Rev, last time I called, I ran out of time before I could make that conclusion, which was the conclusion, and ask my question. So, you know, when I talked to you last time, I quoted Trump. I reminded us that he openly called the president of China king in his 2022 campaign speech, announcing his second run for the White House. I detailed the incestuous nightmare that is Elon Musk's family, namely his father, and I quoted Elon's tweet, signaling the pride that he takes in never seeking therapy. And I told you about that footage I found of a bunch of influential neo-Nazis, Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate among them, singing along to Kanye's latest song entitled Hail Hitler in a party bus in Miami from 11 days ago. And Rev,
I remember you told us that, yeah.
And Rev, just as your show concluded, my YouTube feed fed me a clip. Get this, Rev, of Charlemagne the God on The Breakfast Club reading Kanye's announcement in the Wall Street Journal from 2 days ago, apologizing for his anti-Semitism and his white supremacy. And Charlemagne, who calls himself the God, which has always kind of felt sort of heretical to me, because I don't really know that he's doing the work you do, and you seem to do much work closer aligned to what I perceive as righteous or holy. But whatever that is, ignore that. But Charlemagne the God also hosts a podcast with a white MAGA manosphere comedian named Andrew Schultz called Brilliant Idiots, by the way. And Charlemagne read his Wall Street Journal apology and received Kanye's apology quite sincerely, Rev. And so, you know, Rev, Kanye wants us to believe that he embraced Nazism and Putin and white supremacy and hugged Trump in the White House, in the Oval Office in 2018. Now, in the apology that he wrote, he hasn't made clear that he associates his affinity for Trumpism with his reverence for Nazism. But in the apology, he's blaming his Nazism on some physiological trauma.
Right.
And Rev, I've been through really bad stuff, as I've shared with you. I'm a survivor of sexual violence at age 3. I was groomed and molested by a man I had sought mentorship in as a teenager. But Rev, for some reason, I never decided to embrace and promote evil and hate. So, Rev, my question for you is, and maybe you could tell us on the other side, but does any of this make any sense to you at all?
Well, I tell you, we don't have to wait to go to the other side. I tell you right now, not only does it not make sense, it does not make sense for us to kill a lot of time talking about Kanye. I think that one of the things I've learned, Disco Brian, and you're a very bright person, is that you should not major in minors and you should not minor in majors. I think that Kanye is Kanye. He's an entertainer. He was a good entertainer. He's off politically. And I wouldn't waste a lot of time discussing Kanye. I don't do Housewives of New York show. I do Keeping It Real. I do Politics Nation about real stuff affecting a million people. I got, to quote another rapper, I got 99 problems. Kanye ain't one of them. Let me take a break, be right back. Keeping It Real. That's what I do. Shopton, that's my name. Be right back. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misuse them and listen to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are, why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone. You reminded us that change doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen, as long as we don't give away our power. I also want to recognize my friends, Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King, who continue to be such an important part of this movement. Finally, I want to congratulate another great friend, Eric Holder, on this well-deserved honor. Eric was obviously an outstanding Attorney General, and after the career he's had, he could have easily decided to ride off into the sunset. Sometimes I think that his wife Sharon wishes he had, but that's not who Eric is. Instead, over the last decade, he's built the National Democratic Redistricting Committee into a leading force in the fight against gerrymandering. And thanks to them, we've been able to push back some of the worst attempts to undermine our elections. It speaks to Eric's love of country, but also his recognition of how important this work is. He understands that our democracy isn't self-executing. We have to fight for it each and every day. And that's going to be especially true as we head into the midterms later this year. So, thanks to Eric and his team for doing everything they can to put our elections on a level playing field. And thanks to all of you for helping people recognize their own power and put it to good use. Take care, everybody, and God bless.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with sharp phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited. And you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9. And we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people, and then perform it at our highest level in our generation, as Dr. Moss said, that's our obligation. You know, one of the reasons that I've been so concerned about this cultural tone that we're in now is a lot of us have lost the dignity that our community has shown from Jamestown to now. I've questioned some of the artists that no longer sing to uplift us. And there's never been a generation that didn't use our music and our culture to lift us up. And the excuse is where they say, well, we just want to show what's there. But we never just accepted what was there. We always looked at what was there and looked through it and brought our people the way it needed to be. So in slavery time, we were singing Go Down Moses and Swing Low Sweet Chariot. We wasn't singing about the cotton picking nigga in the field. That's what we saw, but that's not what we sang. In slavery, in segregation time, we were singing We Shall Overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We wasn't singing the hoe in the back of the bus. So where is this coming from? And that's what we need to challenge. I wish, all of this about our friend Barack announced it today. I wish Obama had announced here, because Lincoln did not free us. The abolitionist movement freed us. Lincoln accommodated to freedom fighters. He was not a freedom fighter. Kennedy accommodated the king. Johnson accommodated the king. We got to quit giving the wrong people credit for our history.
Good morning, everybody. Governor Westmore.
And as a former honoree of the National Action Network's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast, I want to begin by recognizing the leadership of this great organization. My guy, Reverend Sharpton, you're one of a kind. You've dedicated your life to safeguarding and advancing Dr. King's legacy, and I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine. I also want to thank Ebony Riley and her team, and Andrea Waters King and the entire King family. Your work continues to shape national conversations about
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and on our message board, the democracy.fund, that's Brother Disco Brian, saying I'm loving all the love viewers are of Keeping It Real are showing by clicking all those thumbs up that loves that sign. The real likes are swelling, keeping it real, spreading truth. And Disco Brian been the campaign manager. That campaign is catching on. Yesterday I saw it went way over what it had been. So I thank you for that. And I want to read James Thomas is saying, Kanye allowed himself to get used by a bunch of idiots who didn't care about them. Selling out for an evil dollar won't get you far in this lifetime. And you know what I don't want to do, and I understand what you're saying, James, and I certainly understand what Disco Brian's saying, but I don't want us to just stop at what they dangle in front of us. They dangle the Kanyes in front of us. The culprit is them. And they're the ones trying to make legal shooting people for standing up against what they're doing immorally and illegally in terms of some of the deportation stuff. They have a right to close the border. They don't have the right to take people that have become American citizens and profile them and hold them. Their abusive level that they're dealing with some people just because they are brown or black or from the Caribbean or from Mexico is something that I don't want us to lose sight of. It's easy to beat on Kanye. He made himself that target. But don't let him get in the way of the real target. Let's go to Chris in Knoxville, Tennessee. Chris? Is Chris there? I do not hear Chris. Is he there? I do not hear Chris. Is he there?
I'm here, buddy.
All right.
I'm here, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I'm talking about. I think I'm in Tennessee right now. I think it's 50 Cent, Kanye West, and the other one, Snoop Dogg, are black people.
Yeah, I think they are too.
What do you think?
They what?
Mm-hmm.
They what? They're black people that what?
They're from Atlanta, Georgia. I think, don't hang up. Everything's going fine, man. Everything's going great, sir. Everything's going to work out all right.
All right, so wait a minute. I'm trying to follow you. You say you think that Kanye, Snoop Dogg, and somebody else was from Atlanta and everything going to be all right. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
And that's what you called to tell me.
I sure do. In Knoxville,
well,
Tennessee.
I'm glad that you called to tell me everything's going to be all right. I was worried till you called me that. And I was misinformed that all of them were born in Atlanta. So you straightened that out for me, and you have encouraged me today. God bless you. And when you go to sleep and wake up and come out of whatever you on, call me again one day. Let's go to Jay in Pennsylvania. Jay, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right.
been a little bit since I talked to you, but I wanted to know, do you know if there's been a formal investigation when Elon Musk did Doge? Was he uploading like some of these ICE agents into the system? Because me, you, and everybody else never even heard of ICE, and all of a sudden you have 5,000, 10,000 of these guys that are out there on the streets already. So that's like something I always wanted to figure out. How did that happen so fast within a matter of like 30 days with this so-called purge? Were they uploading their information into the system so they were already getting hired behind the scenes so nobody knew? And is there a broad coalition of Black, Hispanic, Asian? Like, I don't see like a multiple press conference with like the head of each person, like, you know, the NAACP, the National Spanish like Association. Like, is there like a joint coalition with all of them combined to really put pressure on their senators and congressmen? And third, I don't still see any meaningful commercials or any kind of like initiative to get people to change their mind. That they're not putting like commercials of hospitals that closed in areas, of jobs that closed up due to tariffs. Like, I don't see the Democrats and a lot of independents putting any pressure on Trump to make him stop or either fear him from losing these midterms. Like, he's still operating like it's his first week on the job, like everything's fine.
Well,
So
all right, let me
how
go
do you
back
feel about
over
that?
what you said. There was a gathering of civil rights groups, Latino and Black and Asian, last week, all taking this to task. They have stood together. And we're going to do another one next week. So you came up with the right thing, then we need to keep doing it. They did not get a lot of coverage last week because the shooting happened and that became the news. But I'm sure that when we do it next week, I'm going myself next week. I was not there last week. We will all stand together. That's one. In terms of them doing TV commercials, I think that you got a good idea. They ought to be doing it. They're saying that they're going to do them as they get closer to knowing who wins the primary so they can put it behind their candidate. But I think they should be blasting Trump on the issues now, particularly if they have the money. So I agree with you on that. Thank you for your call, Jay. Let's go to Cooper in New Jersey. Cooper.
Reverend Al, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Rev, before I get into the meat and potatoes, I was listening, and I love that quote, don't minor in majors and don't major in minors. I mean, that's absolutely true and something we all should live by. Also, Rev, I joined Nan, ready to hit the ground running, reaching out to my National Action Network leaders down in my area in South Jersey.
Okay.
And looking forward to working with you and making this, betterment for Americans and our people. But Rev, we have the hypocrite in chief in office, President Donald Trump. As you see, he's scaling back some of the Border Patrol agents in Bovino. But then on the other hand, when our Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar was attacked yesterday, his first statement is she's a fraud and she probably staged the attack. What happened to having leaders that maybe condemn violence and ask if the representative is okay? You straight out call her a fraud?
Absolutely. Before we even know what he sprayed her with.
Exactly.
No, I think there's recklessness, and you're right to point it out. It is tantamount to endorsing what the guy did, and to say that she would set it up. Set it up? Why? Nobody said that when he got shot. Everybody said we're against him getting shot. Now, some nuts might have said it, but certainly we didn't. So why would you go there other than that's where your head is? But thank you, Cooper. I'm gonna look forward to seeing you.
Exactly.
Thank you for your call. And since you're in there, and look, come on up for the convention from South Jersey. Let's get ready to take a break. We're coming back. More of you on the phones. A lot of callers, a lot of people on our message board. Keeping it real. Shouting. Be right back.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Mrs. Coretta Scott King, who never has gotten the credit she deserves in being the force behind this movement. Congressman John Conyers, Stevie Wonder, and others. And Ronald Reagan, who had called Martin Luther King a communist, ended up being the president that had to sign the bill for Martin Luther King's federal holiday. The reason why we know struggle works is this holiday is a result of struggle, signed by a president that never thought it would be. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But we gather this morning because everything Dr. King stood for is at risk. As we speak, we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court will do with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, one of the major achievements of the King movement. As we speak this morning, this sitting president has declared war on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is the core of the Civil Rights Act of '64. We are under attack, and we should not be taking this as a day off. This is a day on to fight to keep what was maintained. To see, I remember 6 years ago, Martin III and I were in Minneapolis leading the marches around George Floyd. I did the eulogy at his funeral. 6 years later, we see a white female, unarmed, killed in Minneapolis. We see people being racially profiled. We see that there are those that would want this to be the last federal holiday named after King. Don't you be deceived. This sitting president and his cohorts would want to end Martin Luther King Day. But just like we will not let them end this day, we will not let them end voting rights and Civil Rights Act and DEI. It's not enough to remember and honor the dreamer and let them kill the dream. And that's why National Action Network has every year started in Washington, D.C. with this breakfast, and then we go to New York with our public policy forum. And every year we try to set an agenda and go into April. We always have our national convention in April, which is the month Dr. King was killed, to say that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. And those of us that come out of that movement is going to continue to fight. This April will be our National Action Network is 35 years old in this April at our convention. One of the things, though, we've been most proud of is to try to keep the assignment that we were given. As I said, Mrs. Coretta Scott King never got the credit she was due. She's the matriarch of this movement. You must know that Dr. King was in Boston, had graduated Morehouse College, 19 years old, went to Boston University, an Ivy League school at a time many blacks couldn't get in them. Met a young lady who was in conservatory, was going to be an opera singer from Marion, Alabama, Coretta Scott King. They decided to go back south. A lot of blacks that went north and had their upper movement never wanted to go back south. But for whatever reason, Dr. King wanted to go back south. And Mrs. King stood right with him and went to Alabama and ran into history. It is always those that accept the calling that change history. And we should never forget the sacrifice made of Dr. Martin and Mrs. Coretta Scott King, because they did not have to go and lead a boycott. They were Boston University conservatory graduates. They chose to fight. And when it fell their lot, they kept fighting. And even after Dr. King was assassinated, she kept the movement going. Martin III bonded me and his mother, and she used to reprimand me. Al, you got to be careful with your language. Al, I know you up north, but do this, that, and other. She got on me about being not only in the tradition in your actions, because we always was there, but even in your rhetoric. And it was because of that I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Big Mike in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Big Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Reverend Sharpton? I got I've nodded at you a few times when I passed the airport. I'm happy about the job that you do, and I do watch you on Saturdays and Sundays. And I got two comments and a question.
All right.
Okay, the first thing is that what's going on in Minneapolis.
Did we lose him? Hello?
No, he's still up.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you now. Yeah.
I think it might be a precursor to stop the midterm election by causing chaos within our country. That's my first comment. The second comment I have is, Joe Madison said it one time. They came for them, and I didn't do nothing. And now they're coming for me.
Right.
And as I say me, they come for my vote. And that's so very important. So I want us to be aware of that. The third question I got, and maybe it might be, you're a pretty smart guy. Letitia James, she got a judgment. She got a judgment against Trump.
Right.
Now, what I'm thinking, why? Okay, since he is in office, or is that in appeal? Or what? Are they gonna wait till he's out of office to actually hit him with the hammer?
Yeah, I think that he's appealed some of it, and I think they're going through the process, but I don't think they could collect, because one of the appeals he's already lost, I don't think they can collect until he's out of office.
Well, but he's enriching himself while he's in there.
With no doubt about it. I do not agree. I think that they should not only exercise it now while he's in office, I think they ought to freeze all of his other assets and everything until all of it's paid.
Yeah, well, that's all I had, Reverend.
All right, well, good to hear your voice, and thank you. Thank you. Keep listening and keep watching on weekends, as you say. Let's go to Reverend Pless in Atlanta, Georgia. Reverend Pless.
Thank you, Reverend, for all that you do. Thank you for all that you do sincerely. And I certainly appreciate you taking my call. I got three things, and I'll make them quick. One, with one of your other callers mentioning about coalition, Latinos, blacks, Jews coming together. I'm always proud to know that you and the NAACP and the SCLC and the Southern Christian Leadership and Black Lives Matter and other groups have always come together. And what made me mention that was that I did see on MS Now on the Chris Hayes show, and yesterday I believe it was, that Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock went to the site where the young man was shot and killed. And that affirms that we have always stretched across lines, along with you and Jesse and others have been doing for years. But just to let him know, we've always believed in reaching out and to stretch across lines, because I think Dr. King at one time said on a TV commercial when they were marching, I believe in Selma, I believe it was, when he called for people that believe in what they were doing, asked whites to come and help.
Yeah.
And so we have seen that over the years, something that you and Brother Jihad mentioned the other day. We've always had blacks and whites working together for the foolishness that we have always had to endure. And the second thing that I wanted to mention, ask Reverend, I don't know, Civil Rights Attorney Benjamin Crump and Civil Rights Attorney Julian Jones, the one that always does his presentations that gives us information on former slaves and how things were during Reconstruction and during the time of Jim Crow and during the time of slavery. Have you ever had both of them to collaborate together? Have they ever been on your show together?
No, they
always
haven't.
wondered
But
if
you
they
know,
were.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
I never thought about it. That's a good
Okay.
idea. I know that we've
Okay.
invited Johnson to the National Action Network convention, and Crump is already
Okay.
going to open up. He'll be there. It might be a good time to
Yeah.
have them do something together. Let me go to work on that.
Okay. Okay. And the last thing that I had, Reverend, I was watching CNN on last night. I was watching the Abby Phillips show, and I can't remember his name. I think his name is Mike, or is it Kelly, from Shark Tank. Shark Tank, the billionaire. His name escapes me right now. Anyway, he had a confrontation with Tiffany Cross on Abby's show last night. He seemed to be very irate. He was very, very angry that Tiffany Cross mentioned the fact that some of these ICE agents might just be Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. And he was so angry about it, bringing it up. You really think that federal law enforcement people could be people of Proud Boys? And I put it out on my butterfly account that yes, because we've known of cover-ups over the years. They cover their faces the way the Ku Klux Klan do. And we know that there was a time in this country where Klan and others were police officers. They were judges.
Absolutely.
They were lawyers.
Absolutely.
And I mean, he was so angry at Tiffany Cross when she brought that point up, Reverend. I just don't understand how they could find it so far-fetched or find it so unbelievable. It wouldn't surprise me if half of the people that Trump freed, of that Trump pardon, would not be ICE agents. I mean, wouldn't have gone and applied for those jobs. They offered them a lot of money, and they don't do a background check. So it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. But thank you for taking my call, Reverend.
All right,
and,
always good to
we
hear
are-
your voice,
we are-
Reverend. Let's stay right in it. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Rufus in Savannah, Georgia. Rufus.
All right.
You on
Good
there?
afternoon, y'all.
Good afternoon.
All right. Yeah, I was just thinking about, I think it was Thomas Jefferson who said it. He was talking about that he trembled that the God of justice was going to wake up on the treatment that America had did to black people. And when the God of justice wake up, he trembled. Am I right about that? Was the president who said that?
I think you're right. It said that or something very similar to it. You're right.
And he trembled. I mean, he trembled at the judgment that the God is a God of justice. The judgment that was going to fall on America. And right now, they hadn't really come out against us because they feel it too. I know they ain't got no love for us now. But they ain't really come out. They feel it. Somebody done told them something. So they ain't really they nibbling around the edges, but they ain't really come out against us. And what I'm saying is that a lot, because they feel if they come out when they start coming out real heavy, that judgment gonna fall on this country, and it's gonna fall in a way that it ain't gonna go in their favor. It's gonna collapse in their face. It's gonna blow up in their face. You know what I'm saying? And what I wanted to say is what I was talking to you the other day ago about is that some of the organizations that I guess with the Democrats or some of the organizations that got a little bigger platforms is that when we start having problems with that ICE agency, that we be able to call and say that, this went wrong, that went wrong, this went wrong, and they,
somewhere to report. Yeah.
Right, if we assaulted anyway, because I'm really thinking about filing those lawsuits. Once your rights being, forget about waiting around and see what's going to happen with this and this. If they start violating your rights, take them straight to court.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take them to court.
I like it.
You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
it. I got to take my break. Thank you for your call, Rufus. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I see Vivian Denise is on our message board saying, I'm from Dothan, Alabama, and lived about 10 miles from KKK headquarters. Well, Vivian, my mother was from Dothan, Abbeville, Alabama, that area, and she's buried there in Dothan. I still got kinfolk in Dothan. And I know you're right, the Klan is there. When my mother had me in New York, she moved to New York, and when she moved back in the 80s, she wanted to go back to her home state. She said, now I don't need you visiting too much, because I don't need these folks down here to know I'm Al Sharpton's mother. That's how dangerous it was. My mother, that's why I don't go see her like once a year or so, because she didn't want folk to know who she was. So I know it's right. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
It is the greatest honor to introduce today our Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Let me say, I wanted to come today on Martin Luther King Day. Because Martin Luther King died in Memphis fighting for wages for garbage workers. And I believe he would want those of us that come in his tradition to be standing with nurses and standing with those that should be getting wages for saving the lives and caring for people that the private hospitals and other hospitals seem not to care about. How can you spend King Day and turn your back on people that are working and not insured right and not given the right wages and not given the right respect when they're taking care of our afflicted, our ill, our infirm? In the name of Martin Luther King, I join the nurses in demanding justice for the nurses. This is not only a labor issue, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. It's an issue that black and white, Latino, Asian, all can stand together. Because those that want to make profits out of people's illness, rather than pay for those that care for them, that stand for them, that are there when their families are not there in some cases. So we had to come on King Day. Many of the dignitaries came to the House of Justice, but I left to come and stand here with them to let them know that Martin Luther King Day is a day to stand up for those that are standing in the cold, but they never left the patients in the cold. No justice. No peace. 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 All right.
Thank you, Mr. Sharpton. Thank you.
King, Dr. Richardson. Most of all, let me thank Reverend Al Sharpton for bringing us all here together today in the Urban Action Network. I am proud to be a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. But I am mindful that I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Reverend Al Sharpton running for president, and Gerald Mosley Brown running for president, and Jesse Jackson running for president, and Shirley Chisholm running for president. They paved the way, and I stand on their shoulders.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
I celebrate the day you were born. You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
For over 3 decades, the National Action Network has stood on the front lines for our communities, fighting for justice, lifting up the voiceless, and showing up where it matters most. Presidents, world leaders, and global changemakers have all testified to Reverend Al Sharpton's impact and National Action Network legacy of good trouble in the fight for equality. This holiday season, our commitment grows even stronger. We're expanding food distributions, toy drives, and direct support for families who need us now more than ever. Stop right now and join the movement.
Around this is so wicked. Now they're going to, they released last night a memo that said that the FBI was investigating good. They're trying to come up with something on the victim. Not they gonna investigate who shot her. The ICE agent shooting in the head 3 times. They're gonna investigate her. And you wonder why we need movements. You wonder why we need to stand up. Hakeem Jeffries was here Monday. Why we need to deal with this midterm election. Well, Reverend, I get calls on my radio show today. Well, I don't see where voting changed something. All right, let me tell you where, if they lose the Congress this year, where it changes. The Speaker would be Hakeem Jeffries, who grew up right here in Name, as he said on Monday. The Speaker decides then the calendar for the legislative session. The chairs of the committees become Democrats. So the Judiciary Committee, now watch this in the barbershop. The chair of the Judiciary Committee, y'all saw the Judiciary Committee have the hearing and brought in the special counsel yesterday. Well, the chair this time, if the Democrats win, would be a Democrat who could then subpoena the Attorney General Bondi, all of the folks that were involved in January 6th. They can subpoena the Vice President, all of them, because you've got the power of the gavel. Wonder why nobody has asked Pence how he felt running for his life January 6th. Well, if you get the Judiciary Committee, you can subpoena Pence.
This is a defining moment. As our world faces urgent challenges, the movement comes together. National Action Network's 35th anniversary and convention, April 8th through the 11th. Leaders, activists, and community voices united for justice and change. The moment is now. Be in the room.
1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And Happiness Donuts is on the message board saying, I couldn't imagine the fear your mom felt. That's a true story. You are absolutely right. My mother came from Dothan, Abbeville area, and you follow, all that's right in there. And was grown when she came to New York, met my father, married, had my sister and I. And after the whole traumatic breakup and all, she was up here till the early 80s. But she always wanted to go back home. She was from Alabama. She had 2 grown kids down there, didn't live with them, got her own place, and was afraid of the people there. She left and had to come back when they stabbed me leading the march. So the fear she had was real. And I lived every day feeling part fearful and part guilty that I put my mother in that position. My daughters, Malcolm X's widow, Betty Shabazz, put Dominique and Ashley in private school when they started school, 1st and 2nd grade. She said they cannot go to school with the last name Sharpton, and kids will harass them. And she paid for it, because I didn't have no money. And she paid for it. She said Percy Sutton helped pay for my daughters to go to school. By 3rd grade, James Brown paid. By then, I was making enough money to pay myself. I say all that to say, people never understand the price you pay for fighting on certain issues, and you well know. Like I say all the time, when people stop me in the street or stop me at the airport and say, can I take a selfie? And I tell the little security guys around me, for everyone that stopped encouraging me and wanting to take a picture, there are 2 that wanted to blow my brains out. Don't get it twisted. We're not celebrities. And people don't understand that. And secondly, I want to say, when they said that Tiffany Cross jumped on this guy last night, that's who she is. One of the things, we are 20 years old this weekend, this show. 20 years ago, we started Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. On this show, I used to have Tiffany Cross every week until she got bigger jobs. I used to have Angela Rye on every week, many of y'all remember. I used to have Joy Reid. I've tried to, on this show, help bring people up, and I'm proud that they've gone on to bigger and better things. That's what we supposed to do, because people did it for me. I became Jesse Jackson youth director in New York when I was 13. Nobody gave a 13-year-old kid in charge or something. But it gave me a chance. And I always promised that if I got in position, I'm going to give others a chance. But I also understand the risk that we run out here. These people are bona fide supremacists and feel they have the right to take us out. The guy that stabbed me in Bensonhurst when I led that march against Yusef Hawkins in 91, and the guy ran out the crowd and stabbed me in my chest. When I forgave him, visited him in jail, and I told him, I didn't come for you, I came for me. I wanted to know that I have the forgiveness in my heart that I preached about, and I did. And he said, you're a noble man, Reverend Sharp. This is a man that tried to kill me. Young white man named Michael Riccardi ended up doing 9 years in jail for stabbing me. He said, you're a good man, Reverend Sharpton. He said, because you don't understand. If I had killed you, I'd have been a hero in my neighborhood. He looked me in my eye and said that. And then I got to read foolishness. People will say, oh, y'all are in it for this or in it for that. Or they just making money. Who could pay you for a knife in your chest? Who could pay you for your kids having to be careful of who they talk to? So that's why I always bring up Reverend Jackson. That's why I deal with the King family. I know the price paid. Others just are frivolous. And I think we need to be real clear about it. I want to get that off my chest. Let me say by way of announcements again, Politics Nation, I've been on the phone during the commercial. We're going to have leaders of the Congress on. And we're going to get into stopping this bill. Unless they defund ICE, the Democrats going to block it. I'm going to have one of the leading Democrats, I can't call his name till Friday, but I will have him. And I will have some of the Senate, the governors and all. Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I know some of y'all watching Super Bowl, watch it after you watch Politics Nation. Live at 5 p.m. Eastern time on MSNBC. Then the Saturday Action Rally. This is the last Saturday at the House of Justice on 145th and Lenox. And we go through the history of, a lot of history there. Obama came to that site when he was running. I brought James Brown's body there and walked it from there in the horse and wagon down Lenox Avenue to Apollo Theater for one of his funerals. A lot of history in that place. Be with us as we do the last rally in that location, because then we move Black History Month to Mother AME Zion Church. But Saturdays at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you're not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television or at nationalactionnetwork.net live stream or at YouTube/NAN. And the convention, I'm getting the numbers and people are signing up. You better get your place, because once and we're not even in February yet. The convention's April 8th through the 11th. Once we get maxed out, I'm going to have to say only the people on the list can get in. So sign up. Say, Reverend Al, I'll be there one day. I'll be there 3 days. I'll be there half a day. But sign up so that if a ballroom fills up and you're on the list, we make sure we let you in. Go to 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. And you can sign up there or go on the website. You might be sitting in your cubicle at work and don't want the folk hear what you're doing. So just go to the website, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign up for the convention. All right, let me go to Chevy Chase, Maryland, to Miss Richardson, my friend in Chevy Chase.
Yes, good afternoon, Rev.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you're saying some dynamite words here today, and I'm telling you, we all have got to listen to you, you know, old and young.
Thank you.
You know, and yes, sir, you're a great man, Reverend, you know. But let me say this, you know, by me being an independent and, you know, and everything, I mean, you know, unlike your audience, maybe a lot of them are just solely either Republican. A lot of them won't call you because I guess they, you know, they probably fear that you would take them very well or something. Mostly Democrats will call you, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you have some independents calling too, like me. See, I don't know. My brain, I can't read people's minds or where they are. But what I'm trying to say is, this president of Venezuela, Monero, can you pronounce his name, Rib?
Maduro.
Maduro, yes, sir, Rib. And what my concern is, I don't hear very much from, other than the Republican Party, talking about this man being involved with having these people he dispersed the drugs to bring into this country. And I want some clarity from you. Is that true or false? Because see, if this man, this president, this man from Venezuela, he was a president. Okay, so, but what I'm saying is, if this is true, because he's saying that they're always talking about this and
well, let me answer your question. I think that he's in jail and he's going to trial, and now they're going to have to prove that he did do that. Now, many people say he did, including people in Venezuela. So they have the opportunity now, since they went there and grabbed him, brought it back to this country, to prove it in a court of law. Where the contradiction is, Mrs. Richardson, is they had convicted the president of Honduras, Fernandez, and put him in jail in America. They tried in a U.S. court, federal court. They proved it, found him guilty, gave him 45 years in jail, proved guilty on selling drugs. Trump pardoned him and let him out. So if you prove Maduro is doing it, how do you let one guy out and you put the other one in? That's why a lot of people say, is this about drugs or is this about something else?
Yeah, you're right. And I know the break is coming. And I'll just end with this. You're right. Because, see, I get all these conflicting people are saying so many different things. You don't know who to believe, even, you know. And, I mean, you talk to yourself sometimes. Who in the hell, excuse me, my language, who are you to believe? You know, who? So well, I'm just saying.
And it's a hard thing to do, but I tell you what, I figured out who not to believe. And somebody lied to me 3 or 4 times, I know not to believe them. Thank you for your call. Always good to hear your voice, Miss Richardson. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton. Be right back.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with sharp phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Black. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, in which they did, started in Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance that they could fight in the 50s. That ACP would have been together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor and
more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and shopped. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all no King's marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this bill. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more help. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C., two cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York to pay for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attended convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and go to live stream. And we want to hear what you have to say. Let me go to Jewel in New York City. Jewel, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. I just want to say, do you see all this snow? We got a lot of snow out east. It's terrible, and they said we're going to get some more. Pray for everybody's safety. And I saw some people died, homeless people, due to the cold. And they have all these shelters accessible, you know. Pray for it. Pray for this storm to pass. It's just so cold, and the snow is everywhere piled up, turning to ice.
I think you're absolutely right. Usually when you get some snow, it'll melt down. It's so cold in New York and other places that the snow ain't melting nothing. So you're right. Thank you for your call, Jewel, and thank you for calling for our prayers. Let's go to Deborah.
Thanks.
Deborah in Atlanta, Georgia. Deborah.
Hi, Reverend Sharpton. Thank you for taking my call. The first thing I wanted to say is that I am a proud Black woman, but I have never been prouder than to be a Democrat. And I'm saying that because I called in the other day and I heard y'all, after my comment. I was not calling to put the party down. I have never been prouder to be a Democrat, and that's above any party.
Just a minute. You got to tell us what you're talking about. People forget we take about 30 calls a day. Wait. Let me explain why I'm saying it. We get about 30 calls a day, and people act like I remember what they said 2 days ago. So tell us what you're talking about.
Thank you. Thank you. So I called in the other day, and I was talking about how the Democratic Party is retroactive instead of proactive.
Right.
And I felt like they should have defunded or did what they need to do in reference to the ICE before another killing. But not only that, I felt like if they felt like they have that power, that even before Renee Good was murdered, they should have already started that process, because we already saw where ICE was going. We see where ICE is going.
But all right, I understand you now. But here's my response. They could not have done that until the bill came up. And they don't control when the bill comes up because they do not have the majority of the Senate or the House. That's why we need to get them back in charge. The fact that the last, when they went back and held out 43 days, and then some Democrats caved and agreed to them delaying it till the end of January. They could not call the bill before the bill comes up the end of January. That's why it's coming up now. So the Democrats couldn't have taken it out because there was nothing to take out of. The bill was not up.
That I didn't know that. I'm sure a lot of other people didn't know that. So you see all different sides of it. So you're educating me, and that's why I listen to the station. With that being said, I live in DeKalb County, Georgia, and ICE is in my county. People are one of the blackest counties in all of the 50 states.
Right.
I want to say this. I want to keep it real. When you're looking at that type of money, You're not going to just have white people in an organization. And why should they? Why shouldn't we have black and brown people who, when they first came out with ICE, what ICE was supposed to be doing? But that's just not what ICE is doing at this point. So what I want to say to my black and brown brothers and sisters, because although you are not the ones that were killing us and shooting us down in the street, you also were not the ones that were speaking up. If you're going to be a part of this organization, don't be a part of it in the ways that they are delivering now. Don't have your mouths closed when you see things that are happening. Yes, you deserve to make that money, but more than that, states have that money. If they have that type of money, why are they not paying police officers more money?
That's right.
Instead of paying ICE all these ridiculous amounts of money in reference for you to police your own state. So I wanted to say that. And to the people who, I want to speak to the people, Reverend Sharpton, who I don't know why they want to keep Donald Trump in office. Maybe because they look at JD, but you voted for that ticket, and I do say JD stands for just dumb. But the difference between a dumb person is that a dumb person can learn. Donald Trump is stupid. He cannot learn.
Right.
He already knows the difference. He just refuses it. So maybe if they put that in their head to see, well, if we get rid of Trump, we got JD. At least you got somebody that can learn. And I can see he has learned a little bit from the time he's been up under Donald Trump. Basically, he was only put there to be a flunky. But from what we're seeing in reference to Donald Trump, he needs to be impeached. Noam needs to be impeached. Bondi definitely needs to be impeached. All three of them need to be impeached. Once they are impeached, the United States can get back to where we need to be in making the adjustments. Then if we still feel that there is a need for ICE, then it would be a different type of ICE. Reverend Sharpton, the way they're going now, and I'm seeing this all over social media, and I'm not just going to say this out of my own voice. I hear people. I hear America. You can be a part of ICE and do things the right way, but if things don't change, you're going to be on ICE. And that's just the way it is.
That's right.
People. And yes, you're going to be on ICE. There are too many of us to take what we saw happen in Minnesota twice. And you are a fool to think that you can live wherever you live and it's not going to happen there. And it's just too many of us to be accepting this and not be standing up against it. And if you look on social media, people are not just talking about marching and coming and protesting. People are talking about standing their grounds because they are literally murdering, executing people in the street unarmed.
That's right.
And so I just think that I can't wait to see your show on Saturday and Sunday because the Senate needs to act, Congress needs to act, because America is already preparing to act. And y'all try to say, I noticed one thing, Reverend Sharpton, we started talking about, where we are at war, people. People call in and be talking about nonviolence and things like that. That all sounds good when you don't want to deal with the reality of the situation that you're living today. When you see American citizens getting shot down, gunned down in the street at the authority of the President of the United States in the United States of America, that's a major problem. And I just wanted to put that
All
out
right,
there.
thank you for your call. Let me thank you for your call. Let me bring in Reverend Cassius Rudolph, who's a special advisor to me on many affairs. He's come on staff to do our HBCU national tour, and we probably, because of the snow, going to have to push the next stops back a week. But let me first ask you, Reverend, to give us a report on the last 3 cities y'all did. What was the turnout and what was the reaction?
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Reverend Sharpton, for this opportunity. And hello, Radio World. We are excited for the tour. We have had great turnout. We've had presidents and students come out. We were in Alabama last week. We went to Miles College with over 200 students there. I don't care what nobody say. Gen Zs are in tune with what's going on in the world when it comes to civic engagement, voter education, mobilization and activation, and the students know about the work that Reverend Sharpton and Nan is doing. We had Ashley Sharpton with us talking about membership and the convention, and so they are excited about coming to the convention and with the possibility of starting a Nan chapter on campus. So these Gen Z leaders, they're involved.
Now, what this was at Miles?
Yep, Miles College down in Birmingham, Alabama.
All right.
And then from there,
I think one of our great legislators who leads the chapter there in Birmingham was there with y'all.
Yes, Representative Nan Chapter. She's a commissioner there. Her name slips in my mind, but she was there in full number with the table set up with membership information. So it was a great turnout at Miles. For Miles College, we went to Hutchinson Baptist Church down in Montgomery, Alabama. Pastor Cameron Thomas, frat brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. There we had students from Alabama State and people from the community came. We had a great turnout there. We talked about upcoming elections in the state of Mississippi and how churches can be get involved with this work. Because we know here in NAN that the Black church has always been active on the ground, educating and teaching our folks what they need to do to make it in this country. And so we had a good engagement there. And then we wrapped up our session Thursday at Tuskegee University with Dean Cecil Duffy. And the students really showed up at Tuskegee. They had so many questions. They even stayed after. We stayed there, took questions for them. We learned a lot about the history of Tuskegee and about riots that happened in the 60s near the chapel there. So it was a great turnout all across the South.
No, I saw that, and Sheila Tyson is the name you're trying to remember. Sheila Tyson, who's state representative and leads Birmingham NAN and works with the one and only legendary Reverend Tommy Lewis, has been a guiding force. A whole 1 minute, stay with us. I see democracy.fund is saying on our message board, thank you for tireless fight for love all over the South, Reverend Cassius L. Rudolph. That's from democracy.fund, so they're cheering you on. And Tricia is saying the same for Reverend Rudolph and Miss Ashley Sharpton at Miles College. Tricia saying, all right, great. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Oh, wait a minute, I got to read this one. Rodney Jones, the mayor of Queensbridge Houses in Queens, said, good afternoon, Reverend Cassius L. Rudolph. You gave a powerful, inspirational message at NAN's Saturday morning rally. He did the inspirational out. So you don't know. You got folk all over the country listening to you. I keep trying to tell y'all I'm trying to help y'all get out there. Me and Jay doing the best we can with y'all. Y'all just...
Yes, sir.
Y'all just don't appreciate us. We taking a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton. Rudolph. Be right back.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone. You reminded us that change doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen, as long as we don't give away our power. I also want to recognize my friends, Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King, who continue to be such an important part of this movement. Finally, I want to congratulate another great friend, Eric Holder, on this well-deserved honor. Eric was obviously an outstanding Attorney General, and after the career he's had, he could have easily decided to ride off into the sunset. Sometimes I think that his wife Sharon wishes he had, but that's not who Eric is. Instead, over the last decade, he's built the National Democratic Redistricting Committee into a leading force in the fight against gerrymandering. And thanks to them, we've been able to push back some of the worst attempts to undermine our elections. It speaks to Eric's love of country, but also his recognition of how important this work is. He understands that our democracy isn't self-executing. We have to fight for it each and every day. And that's going to be especially true as we head into the midterms later this year. So, thanks to Eric and his team for doing everything they can to put our elections on a level playing field. And thanks to all of you for helping people recognize their own power and put it to good use. Take care, everybody, and God bless.
From UK?
In London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Guys! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's gonna do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action gonna be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We've got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive.
Yes, sir.
There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to know.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You're lying.
The other thing that
keeping it real.
the National Action Network.
I am your host,
Injustice and Inequality.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and Joanne Kemp is on our message board. Reverend Cassius Rudolph is still with me here at NAN Corporate. And Joanne Kemp says Nicki Minaj today told Trump she was his biggest fan. Well, you need to put your hand on the radio and pray for her, Reverend Rudolph. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with these entertainers. But my. Reverend Al, greetings to you. This is Dolores Seals. Greetings to you, sir, Nan, and listeners. What has happened to Mayor Muriel Bowser? She used to be outspoken in opposition to Donald Trump, and now her voice seems has been silenced. I think she's not running again, too. I do not know. I've not talked to her. She usually comes every year to Dolores, to the Martin Luther King breakfast we have in Washington. We've been having there 12, 15 years. She didn't come. So I have no idea at all. But thank you for the call. Let's go back to the phones, Reverend. Let's go to Jewel in New York. Oh, I think we did Jewel. I'm sorry. Rick in Atlanta, Georgia.
No, we got Jewel.
Okay, you got Jewel? Let me hold up, Rick. Let's go to Jewel. I thought Jewel had told us what she had to say. Thank you.
Sorry.
Let's go to, yeah, I know I was right. Y'all bugging down there. I know I'm older, but I'm tuned in. Relax, young man, relax. I got this. Go to Rick in Atlanta, Georgia. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton and Reverend Cassius Rudolph.
Good afternoon, Rev.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for taking my call. Yes, please. I appreciate the work you do, and I wanted to just add some insights into what I think is going on in the nation. First, I don't think we talk enough about reparations, and I think they need more legitimacy in the community. They should be our number one focus. We can, what is more important to us than fixing ourselves? And reparations represents fixing ourselves. While issues like health care, education, and many other, relevant ideas are important, reparations is holistic and community-based, and it combines all of those topics under one umbrella. Any public commentator who isn't willing to use or even discuss the very word reparations is probably not brave enough to make a meaningful contribution. Now, second, I want to talk about the Target boycott really quickly.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
You may ask me anything,
How do
sir.
you propose we get our reparations?
Okay, that's my next point. A good one. Well, the Target boycott would be a natural, logical first step to demonstrating what we
has
have.
nothing to do with reparations.
Oh no! If you don't see the connection, let me draw it for you. If you can demonstrate your power economically as a 50 million member nation within a nation, you have a much stronger argument that you can will power to get money out of the federal government.
No, that doesn't count. If you're talking about federal government giving reparations, right? A private company can't make the government do that.
No, but once you have galvanized the community,
but we've
around
been
these topics,
all of us support the boycott of Target. We've supported other boycotts, and we've not. 7-8 months later, where we at with it?
Okay, I would say to you that we have not supported it consistently. There are people going in Target as we speak. There are black people shopping at Target.
So that's my
point.
But my point is, to get reparations, you got to get that out of the government. Is that not right?
That's true.
All right. If you're going to get it out of the government, then you got to put people in the government, like Warnock and them in your state, that will vote for reparations. We can close a company down, but if you got the wrong people in the Senate and in the House and in the White House, you ain't never gonna get reparations from the government. What I'm saying is that energy needs to go at. I've been around reparations movement, been a proponent of reparations for 40 years. When Queen Mother Moore and them started that movement in Harlem, I was a kid with them. And it's always been to make the government repair. And we have never had enough of the people in the government, just like we did with the George Floyd bill. Our energy ought to be putting people in office that will say in office, I'm going to support reparations.
Can I reply?
Sure.
Now, that one of the reasons why the people that you have in government that you support, I don't want to kick any names because I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, yours being the least of all. But one of the reasons why they don't support you when they get on the inside is because you haven't demonstrated your seriousness on the outside.
We're saying the same thing. When we had the National Action Network Convention, which we're getting to have again in April, in 2020, I made every candidate come to the convention and ask them, will you support reparations? Every one of them, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Liz Warren, all of them. Do you know, Rick, the only one that said I can't support reparations was Bernie Sanders.
And now hold it. You supported Kamala, and you're telling me Kamala Harris supported reparations. Is that what you're saying?
You can go to National Action Network archives on our website and look at the convention. She said yes.
There's documents on YouTube. There is footage on YouTube of her saying, and pardon me for paraphrasing, that I'm not going to do anything special for black people. She said, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not going to do anything special for black people. That's on YouTube, and I don't
I'd have to see that. I'm telling you what she said at National Action Network's convention, and I got the tape. I got the tape. But I see how you don't say nothing about Bernie. Bernie said no, and we call him progressive.
I would be more than willing to talk about Bernie Sanders in an extended discussion. I'll call back and we'll talk about Bernie.
Please do.
Think it's all right.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you for your call. And that's a good call, Cassius, because I think that, again, people are awake. Mm-hmm. And people talk about, are you woke? First, you need to be awake.
Right.
And then clean out the sleep in your eyes to be woke. Some of y'all woke and sleepwalking.
Yeah.
And the process has to be No, we need to do the boycotts and vote. It's not one or the other.
Exactly.
We need to do both and, because that's the only way we're going to get reparations or anything. We fighting to get health care.
Right.
Less known reparations.
And we got the formula. You know, you and those before us, we go all the way back to 1955 with the Montgomery bus boycott. They boycotted, as you know, well over a year, but they still voted in the process as well.
Right. And that's
Fight
why
for voting rights.
That's why when they got the 64th Civil Rights Act, which ended discrimination, they had to get the 65 Voting Rights Act, because if you don't have people in power, you can't even enforce what you want in the legislature.
Gotcha.
Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton. Rudolph. Be right back. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order,
thank you.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Mrs. Coretta Scott King, who never has gotten the credit she deserves in being the force behind this movement. Congressman John Conyers, Stevie Wonder, and others. And Ronald Reagan, who had called Martin Luther King a communist, ended up being the president that had to sign the bill for Martin Luther King's federal holiday. The reason why we know struggle works is this holiday is a result of struggle, signed by a president that never thought it would be. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But we gather this morning because everything Dr. King stood for is at risk. As we speak, we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court will do with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, one of the major achievements of the King movement. As we speak this morning, this sitting president has declared war on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is the core of the Civil Rights Act of '64. We are under attack, and we should not be taking this as a day off. This is a day on to fight to keep what was maintained. To see, I remember 6 years ago, Martin III and I were in Minneapolis leading the marches around George Floyd. I did the eulogy at his funeral. 6 years later, we see a white female, unarmed, killed in Minneapolis. We see people being racially profiled. We see that there are those that would want this to be the last federal holiday named after King. Don't you be deceived. This sitting president and his cohorts would want to end Martin Luther King Day. But just like we will not let them end this day, we will not let them end voting rights and Civil Rights Act and DEI. It's not enough to remember and honor the dreamer and let them kill the dream. And that's why National Action Network has every year started in Washington, D.C. with this breakfast. And then we go to New York with our public policy forum. And every year, we try to set an agenda and go into April. We always have our national convention in April which is the month Dr. King was killed, to say that they killed the dreamer, not the dream, and those of us that come out of that movement is going to continue to fight. This April be our National Action Network is 35 years old in this April at our convention. One of the things, though, we've been most proud of is to try to keep the assignment that we were given. As I said, Mrs. Coretta Scott King never got the credit she was due. She's the matriarch of this movement. You must know that Dr. King was in Boston, had graduated Morehouse College, 19 years old. Went to Boston University, an Ivy League school at a time many blacks couldn't get in them. Met a young lady who was in conservatory, was going to be an opera singer from Marion, Alabama, Coretta Scott King. They decided to go back south. A lot of blacks that went north and had their upper movement never wanted to go back south. But for whatever reason, Dr. King wanted to go back south, and Mrs. King stood right with him and went to Alabama and ran into history. It is always those that accept the calling that change history, and we should never forget the sacrifice made of Dr. Martin and Mrs. Coretta Scott King, because they did not have to go and lead a boycott. They were Boston University Conservatory graduates. They chose to fight. And when it fell their lot, they kept fighting. And even after Dr. King was assassinated, she kept the movement going. Martin III bonded me and his mother, and she used to reprimand me. Al, you got to be careful with your language. Al, I know you up north, but do this, that, and other. She got on me about being not only in the tradition in your actions, because we always was there, but even in your rhetoric. And it was because of that that it meant so much. For the last 30 years, Martin and I have walked step by step together because we had that bond, and I felt that Mrs. King gave us that. He has kept this dream alive all over the world. He has worked with the offsprings of Mahatma Gandhi to keep this tradition going. But I thought I knew a lot about how God operates because I've been preaching since I was a little boy. So I thought I'd never see another person in the spirit of Coretta Scott King. But Andrea Waters King walks and talks and operates in the spirit of Mrs. Because sometimes I turn around and think Mrs. King is back. She is more adamant. When Martin and I are saying, well, I don't know about this, she gets us on the Zoom and zooms us up. Say, no, y'all got to do this and this way. So I want to bring, before we start the awards, to the stage the heirs of Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, Andrea Waters King and Martin Luther King III. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on in time on MS Now, formerly MSNBC, and I got the right ones at the top that'll be in the middle of this battle over stopping the ICE budget in the Congress and dealing with the extension of the Affordable Care Act, which has expired. People are right now being charged premiums double, triple. All of that I'm going to handle on that on Saturday and Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but Super Bowl start after I'm off the air. Y'all get some information. Also, Saturday Action Rally for the last time on 145th and Lenox. Make sure you're there for the Goodbye Rally. I got a message for you, you that are in the New York area. And a lot of history in that place. I'm going to talk about some of that, and I'm going to talk about the landmarks. We don't preserve the landmarks. That's why we're moving into our new big edifice in about a month and a half, because we need to have a permanent landmark. I want, Reverend Rudolph, I cannot take my little grandson, I only have one grandchild, 7 years old, and say that's where Marcus Garvey's building is. I can show him Adam Clayton Powell's Abyssinia Baptist Church, but I can't show a political club. So I want 50 years from now for them to say that's the building they fought George Floyd out of. That's the building they did.
Yeah.
We got to have a sense of history because it gives our people a sense of worth.
Right.
And every other community does that, but us. And it's not our fault, but it's our circumstance. Because it's not our fault because we were trained to cut ourselves off from our roots.
Right.
Which is why the brother Carlin is right about reparations. And I think that you are finding in the college tour that there's fertile minds there that want to learn. We're not going to them.
Exactly. I agree, Rev. They have the minds. They want to know the information. I think some of us are just stereotypical, saying, oh, Gen Z is not connected to history. They don't know civil rights issues. They don't want to be a part of a movement with a leader and things of that nature we were talking about. But no, what we've seen going to our historically black colleges and universities over these last 2.5 weeks, from Lincoln University to being in Philadelphia, to being in Birmingham and Montgomery and in Alabama, these students are well engaged, well thoughtful when it comes to knowing their history. And what we're trying to do at NAN and while we're on this tour is not only give them civic engagement and give them tools for the upcoming midterm election, but one of our facilitators, Reverend Gabby Wilkes, in every presentation that she makes, she always gives history of that institution, that community, or the place that we are at. So kudos to the whole team for making their presentations personal and personalized and to fit each stop, because we lift up that history. And once you lift up that history, you grab their attention. And that's what NAN has been doing. You want to create those history markers. So when the Marcus Owl gets old and you're well gone on to that land with the Lord, it's 50 years from now, you say, this was my grandfather's building. This is the work of NAN. And that's what we got to keep doing, because if we don't tell our story for us, no one's going to tell it.
And like I was talking to some young people, and I'm going on the phones. I was talking to some young people, said exactly what you just said. Well, I don't like movements with leaders. I said, okay, that's fine. That ain't new. And they said, what do you mean? I said, Ella Baker and SNCC and them didn't want to follow Dr. King.
Right.
That didn't start now. Don't act like that's new.
Exactly.
You always had some that wanted leaderless movements. You had some that wanted other kind of movement. You had others that had followed behind Dr. King or NAACP. We had Malcolm, NAACP, Dr. King, Adam Clayton Powell, Thurgood Marshall, Fannie Lou Hamer, all at the same time.
Right.
The question is whether you want a leaderless movement or a movement to define with leadership like we do in NAN or in NAACP or some other movement.
Right.
The question is, can we support each other on what we want to get done? Because just like you don't want the method or the structure that I like, I don't like the structure you like.
Right.
But I'm not stopping you from having a leaderless movement. But let us deal with healthcare.
Right.
Bring your leaderless crowd, I'll bring my leader crowd. Let us deal with police brutality. Let us deal with reparations. Let's not act like you invented that. That is not true.
Right.
Y'all are young. Use AI. Ask AI. Were there ever leaderless movement? They'll go all the way back to slavery time. Turner debated with Frederick Douglass. So I think a lot of us allow our adverse forces, I'll put it that way, break us up.
Yeah.
When, in fact, that is not the case.
I think that's always been, even you mentioned it before, they always try to plant people in the movie to divide us when we all in this thing together.
That's right.
Trying to get to one common goal.
That's right. That's right. Let's go to Al in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Al.
Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
I called you over a month ago to tell you some of the stuff I do in the universities teaching about veterans issues, and I told you about the Constitution and how Trump was going to start a war to keep himself in office. And he did start that with Venezuela. My question today is, he has confiscated oil barges from Venezuela and started selling them off, but the money that he's getting, he's putting in banks in Qatar and other parts of the world, and nobody has access to that but him.
Yeah, he's putting money in Qatar. He's putting money in Qatar and other places where his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and all of them have been traveling around.
That's correct. But I'm saying that money that he has earned from that belongs to the United States government, not to him.
Right.
But nobody has access to it but him and his people. Isn't there something that Congress or the Supreme Court can do to change that, to make it be the way it's supposed to be? The other thing I wanted to say to you today is I also have family in Dothan, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
And it's still a very dangerous place for us.
Oh, yeah.
As it has been for a long, long time.
No, it's very dangerous. My sister, my oldest sister from my mother's first marriage, but she's still in Dothan. My brother down there died, and my mother's buried there near Dothan. I know exactly what you're talking. I mean, right now, you could go to Dothan.
It's still a very dangerous place.
You think you were back in 55.
Slocum, Alabama, all of them places. That's correct.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just that how is people allowing this man to do things and not question it or not checking him? I don't get it. What happened to all the authority of our government over the president of the United States?
Well, you are
it's not there anymore.
You're hitting my frustration right on the head, because it's like this is even beyond black and white. Y'all are letting this man undo the law as you supposed to represent it, the Senate, the Congress, and the Supreme Court. And he's just been able to guerrilla, intimidate everybody with just his will, and he needs to be stopped for the good of the country. It's not about the good of the Democrats.
Right.
It's for the good of the country.
That's right. And just like that man said earlier today on your show, ICE, a lot of those people are people that were involved with the insurrection when he was trying to stop the election from being put out of office 10 years ago. And he's hired those people. He's taken them out of prison and giving them jobs, making a lot of money, and they're running around here killing people under his authority.
And
I don't know why nobody can see
our
that.
tax dollars, our money. Our money.
I'm a United States Air Force veteran, Vietnam, served, wounded, etc., and I just don't get it. It's like, you know, we went back 40, 50 years to the point where we might as well be in Germany when Hitler was alive.
All right.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a good
you for
day,
your
man.
call. Let me thank you. Thank you, Reverend Rudolph. Thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, whatever you say, wherever you go, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al said, told you personally, keep it real, keep it real, keep it real. I'll talk to you on tomorrow. Hey, Dallas.